Oilers postgame after a thrilling 5-4 overtime win for the Oilers over the Sherwood Park Crusaders in front of another healthy crowd at Okotoks Centennial Arena. And we're joined by the overtime hero, Rylan Brown. You've scored some clutch goals and had some big plays this year, Rylan, but take me through that play in particular. Heck of a saucer across from Hunter Saka. You managed to not just settle it down, but then deke your way around a fallen goaltender. How does that one all evolve for you in what was a really wild overtime period?
Yeah, I know. Well, off the rip, I thought the guy was going to actually go between my legs, so I wasn't really happy about that, but then ended up getting it up to Saka, and then he sauced one over, and then I just kind of thought I was going for him backhand, and the goalie overslid and had an open net.
Well, so it works out for you there, and I wonder just how much this speaks to the emotional strength of this team this year, because there were a lot of things that didn't go your way down the stretch in this game. The third period was tough, even though you guys weren't playing poorly or anything like that. How would you describe the outlook on the bench as you headed to that overtime frame, and just in general this year, how sort of emotionally strong and the responses to adversity, how good those have been for this team?
I think we've been really good, but I think it's helped a lot having Spack and Rolling back in the lineup. Having a leader like Spack, it's really beneficial off the ice, like in the room in between periods, just helping guys out and just kind of leading guys through the game and stuff. And I think that's why we bent, but we didn't break, and huge kudos to our leadership group.
But at the same time, you look at the defensive core for this team, and you guys at the start of the year were one of the oldest D-cores in the AJHL. Cade Turner, Logan McGowan out of the lineup, hopefully getting them back as soon as possible. But now you're one of the younger ones in the AJHL, and yet you go up against a Sherwood Park team that's one of the best offenses in the league, and through two periods at the very least, we're containing them pretty darn well. What have you thought of the way just the defensemen in general have kind of come together over these last few weeks, even with having to have affiliates eat up minutes every night too?
I think Brody's been doing a really good job helping us just kind of find our game and not being too complicated and just kind of simplifying it, especially when we play teams like this. And I think McGuire and lots of other guys have been stepping up and playing a huge role in the last 5 games.
Nice shout out for Brody Halewood, the league-leading redhead on the bench in the AJHL. How about looking forward to next weekend? Bonnyville and Fort McMurray coming to town. Bonnyville, kind of a similar opponent to Sherwood Park. They're going to play you really tight for sure. So kind of a two-part question. Your expectations for next weekend, and also how nice is it to have 4 days of practice and not have to worry about a game in the middle of the week?
Yeah, I know. It's unbelievable. Finally, we'll be able to kind of get a little bit of rest here. But I think looking up to this weekend, we want to kind of keep the ball rolling. And I think Bonnie, they've had our number before, and I think being able to come out strong start and kind of shut down their top line, I think will be huge. And then Fort Mac, we haven't seen them yet, so I don't know, just come out strong and get on the forecheck, and then just kind of play our game.
Appreciate this, Rylan. Congrats on the OT winner.
Thank you.
Now joined by Oilers assistant coach Reid Hnatowich, and Reid, a heck of an entertaining game between two very talented teams out there. And as much as you guys weren't on the winning side in terms of shots opening that first period, what allowed you to take so much advantage of the chances that you did get and end up holding on to force overtime against a team that really took it to you down the stretch?
Yeah, I think, offensively we're good with some of our chances. We were desperate in terms of our net front, shots were getting through positive. Obviously, right, like you said, situations where we had leads and we let that get away from us. So that's something we want to dial back with, making sure we're focused on their score. But I thought from an offensive standpoint, we generated nice, and although we didn't mass produce our opportunities there, the ones that mattered went in.
Also, some contributions offensively from the young guys in this one quite a bit. Carson Wright gets his first AJHL goal, and just a smart play it looked like to go to the front of the net. And then Cade Dool, the recipient of a great 2-on-1 pass from Owen McNeil. You've sung his praises quite a bit over these last few weeks, especially with how much rookies, affiliate players have to be depended on by this team. How key were they to get this one to overtime?
Yeah, Duo, obviously, that was a huge goal for the sense of the momentum of the game. And I think you look at our lineup now with the amount of injuries we have out, those guys are thrown into situations and opportunities where, we don't have a choice but to play them. They don't have a choice but to step up and, be contributors to the success of this team. And I thought they did a really good job. Speaking directly on, Carson Wright with the North Stars there, I thought yesterday, obviously, he was positive getting into the pace, getting his feet wet, getting the feeling. But then, tonight, this game obviously was a lot different than yesterday with regards to how fast these guys are, how skilled they are. And I thought, for an affiliate player like Carson to, didn't think he stayed the same as yesterday. I actually think he vamped up his game with regards to his performance today. So super cool with him and his future.
What about to sort of the emotional strength of this team as of late? Because there have been teams, especially when this team was really young a couple of years ago, where when things went bad, they would seem to snowball a bit on you guys. Here in this one, you give up 2 goals in the third period. It's a tough period where you're not playing poorly or anything like that. Things don't go your way, and yet not only does this team tighten up to help get this to overtime, but then they end up doing a great job getting the first chance of the OT frame and then finishing it on their second. How impressed are you with, not just in this game, how your team has responded to adversity, but how this season it seems like things don't phase this team the way they used to?
Well, you spoke on it, with regards to us in situations a couple years ago where negative things would occur, and in times the bench would shut down. And I think what's cool about this group that we have now is those players 2 years ago, are the same group that we have now. They've learned, we've discussed it, and it's like a big point when we're successful and we're positive and we're going and our spirits are up. We're communicating with each other. We're a pretty cool team. It's that self-confidence that you need to have, and something that we've worked towards. And like obviously this year with the group of guys we have, the leadership crew, you never feel there's any situation where you're out of things.
Last thing for you, off day tomorrow, and then apparently 4 straight days of practice, which I didn't realize was a thing that still happened with the way the schedule goes this year. How much advantage do you guys intend to take of that, knowing as well that it's still a lot about rest and getting guys back to 100% too?
Yeah, like that's the thing. Still a lot of tired guys. We have the day off tomorrow, which we're going to take off. But then I think, like you said, next week, and I don't even remember the last time we had a full practice week, but now you can kind of sit, reflect, and slowly touch and tick off all the boxes, right? We haven't had that. We've been doing very much management. Now we have that opportunity.
Thanks for this, Reid. Congrats on the big win.
Thanks, King.